right. Welcome aboard the Coffee Break Extravaganza. Enjoy. We'll give it a couple minutes for everybody to pile in. Security's tight, Matt Bradford. Security's tight. Gotta let everybody get in. Getting all set for the holidays? All right. Coming in. Welcome aboard. Let us know where you're tuning in from today. Q&A in the Q&A bucket.
And look at that chat going nuts. I can't even read fast enough.
Oh, good. Yeah, let us know what's going on. Holiday season. You want to tell us what your favorite Christmas movie is?
And why it's Die Hard.
I knew you were a Die Hard guy.
I saw it in the chat. There it goes. Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
When Harry Met Sally. Wow, that's cool.
I saw that too. When Harry Met Sally. I like when you go a little crazy. Funny Farm, also another Chevy Chase movie. Funny Farm. There's great Christmas scenes in that one. Home Alone, absolutely. Christmas Vacation is one of my all-time favorites. I can remember exactly where I was when that started. When that came out, I remember exactly the movie theater. It's not a movie theater anymore. It's like a furniture store. In there. All right. Well, welcome aboard, everybody. I'm Jason Walker. I'm not Andrew Miller, basically. I'm not Andrew Miller, but this is still Coffee Break. Andrew is taking his annual vacation. So as always, he lets the hooligans take over in December. So I am here, and we'll do some more formal introductions as we go along. Welcome aboard. Yep, put your favorite movie in there, favorite Christmas movie in the chat. We will definitely be taking full advantage of chat, Matt, on during this presentation here. So
if we can keep up, man.
Exactly. I mean, you can already tell right from the title of our show, of this coffee break, where we say, "Don't you forget about resiliency." Don't you? If you know what yeah, not a Christmas movie, although it was
They did talk about Christmas though that one year, you know.
That's true.
All they got was a pack of cigarettes or something.
Right. Yeah. Some folks in there know what we're talking about in there. Little Breakfast Club action. Andrew likes to introduce me as the king of 80s movies references. And I've got with me today, as you'll get to know, Matt Bradford, as no slouch himself. But don't sell yourself short. You're a tremendous slouch in there. Absolutely. And there, don't you forget about resiliency. Brewing a strong data defense demo is what we're doing today in there. And yeah, so it says Coffee Break. You will you can find some of our older episodes. You know, Coffee Break's been around a couple of years. We'll try not to crash the franchise as we go through here today, but you know, a lot of older episodes. You can always catch them up on demand. Red Dawn, absolutely, in there, and we'll yeah. So we'll get into it a little bit. You want to get into it? A lot of older episodes, great wide spanning topics going on in there. And so take a look if you want to know. Yeah,
I think there was another song reference in there. If you look at some of the past ones there,
there's got to be a couple in there.
What's Restore got to do with it?
Hey, and look who the guest was. Guest was on that on there. It was me on there. So yeah, so obviously lots of music. You know, lots of it is, but more importantly, lots of great information in there on there. You can go to purestorage.com/events and and take a look at some of the old coffee breaks in there. Flash Crew, Tech Talks, our host Monisha, who's appearing in the panel with us here, helps host some of those things as well. Lots of great stuff. Dig in, take a look. You can do it. We thank you for joining us today. Coffee gift card, there's good details around that. At the end of today's show, we will give away an Ember 12-ounce travel mug gift box in here. So take a look at that. You'll receive it. You can see what email it comes from, what the subject line should be. So accept no counterfeits. I mean, that's the real deal. When you see that, you will be able to get in there. So take a look. There's some exclusions in there. All right, we're going to do a quick swap here on the title screen. I'll introduce myself, and then Matt will take over with his intro in here. I am Jason Walker. I am the global practice leader for modern data protection security. Fancy way of saying handle all the cyber resilience use cases out there for Pure. Lead the way in that. As I'm not just an old head with old movie references. We do actually cover some actual material. I have a picture, as you see in my bio, in there, and it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with Andrew Miller on this. Andrew was not familiar. There you go. John Fink knows what's up on there. But if you want to say who you see in the video other than myself in there, and there, yeah, gift cards will be going out. You'll see them in email, and it'll say that there. So, Joe, no, that's actually, yeah, those are the real fellas. Those are the real fellas. Caught passes from each of them in there, which was a lot of fun at the time. My background is in data protection and resiliency for as long as I can remember, longer than Matt I actually should be probably aware of. So I will let you at this point share your bio and take over from here and introduce yourself.
Sounds great, my friend. Yeah, no. Hey, everybody. My name is Matt Bradford. I do technical marketing here at Pure Storage. I've been doing marketing for a little while now. And let me just get my screen up here as we just take over. And so, yeah, by day, technical marketer, by night, lover of all things old. That's I don't know, Jason. Like that's maybe why I'm hanging out with you, but know. As you can tell from the background, old computers, things are a little bit chilly up here in New Hampshire today, so I had to warm up the office with some nice CRT warmth. It's better than a fireplace. Oh,
I can smell it from here.
Right? That good CRT smell. So, by night, collectible old computers, it's burst into arcade machines. Also like to do a little bit of belt sander racing. I dabble in that. Sort of thing. So I don't know, like you're a Daytona guy, like you into racing, right? You must have something like that.
Oh yeah. I'm dodging belt sanders constantly out here on there. Daytona is the home of racing, but belt sander racing sounds excellent. It's funny, arcade machines. I think I grew up dreaming of having my own arcade in there. So, the fact that you're able to rebuild and recreate some of those magical boxes from the arcades of the 80s. That's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that was all born out of the pandemic, right? We couldn't get out, we couldn't do anything. So, hey, let's just build our own barcade, right? And yeah, with that comes having to do lots of repairs and fix CRTs and all sorts of wonderful, fun stuff.
Yeah, that's great. Belt sander, I'm agree with some of the folks in the chat. Never even heard of that before, but clearly those are pictures of them down there at the bottom, and that's what we're looking at there.
That is my racer from the previous year. Built the body out of plywood with my CNC, laser cut the flames on the side there. It's honestly more about the build than it is the racing. Let's be honest here.
All right. Now, you're not going to do a demo of the belt sander racing.
I'm actually rethinking this entire session here, Jason.
Right.
Give me one sec. I'll go bring the sander out.
Yeah, I think that everybody would be very curious on how all that works. Yes. That's right. But we are going to talk about doing doing good demos, which is an interesting thing to bring to all y'all out here. What makes a good demo in there? But we absolutely will. We obviously Andrew will be back next month to take back control of this of the ship that's teetering right now in there. He'll be talking about Evergreen. He'll have Rich Barlow and Chris Sprague with him on that. Definitely tune back in. Whatever you see this month, tune back in next month. Go bring back to Andrew.
Don't consider this a loss yet, my friend.
Right.
You're doing great.
That's right. Management, the parents will return in January. So you make it there. Yeah. Cabinet maker. Yeah. Great stuff in the chat already in here. But, we wanted to let you behind the scenes a little bit this month and talk about what makes a good demo. You've probably had people demonstrate things to you for decades, for years. You've seen it either on TV or in person or in the tech industry. And we wanted to let you a little bit behind the curtain to see what we do to prepare a really good demo. So we'll show you how to brew that. The roasting in there, always a factor there as we brew the perfect demo in there. So, so what we'll do, and as far as an agenda goes, is we'll dig in. We'll go look beyond the frame, and Matt will give us some background on here, because we don't just end up where we are. There's a journey with that, and then Matt will take us through some of the past experiences with demos, and what makes demos. We'll see some of that in action, and then we'll talk about, of course, how that relates to what Matt and I do here at Pure. Tina McCullough says that best demos are hands-on. Certainly, I know a lot of folks. Some people, it's audio. You have good stuff in terms of how-tos and whatnot. Watching it on YouTube, watching things in there, but hands-on certainly in there. Yeah. So just a reminder: if you have to drop out at any point in here, don't do it. First of all, don't do it. But these are all on demand at purestorage.com. All right. Well, let's get into it first with a poll question. Everybody's been doing a great job putting their movies and whatnot and correctly identifying who's in that picture with me. So we'll throw up our first poll here. And what's your go-to data protection anthem? We had "Don't You Forget About Me" in the front. We've got a great one in there. And then what would you spend time on first when searching a product? We already heard some hands-on stuff like that. Some great responses already coming in. Of course, I get drawn right away to the music kind of thing. It's funny. I was on a cruise one time, Matt Bradford, and they said, "Can you name a tune in one note?" And they hit the note, and it was like, "Oh, that's I Will Survive." Kept going in because it has a very. If you think about that song, you hit that first note. It is sort of memorable.
Yeah, that piano comes in on a flat note there, and
Yep. And we had to promise not to sing on the show to be able to take over, but I don't know. I think I'm leaning that way. All right. People still voting. The votes are just pouring in here. So we'll let you keep voting. And Matt, let's talk a little bit about your background. And obviously when you were growing up, a little six-year-old Matt Bradford, I know you dreamed of working for Pure Storage in this current role that you're in. I mean, we all do, right?
It didn't even exist yet. I know, but when I was playing around with those 20 meg hard drives, it's like, man, I can't wait to be dealing with NVMe flash storage. And what if it was Evergreen?
Hey, I know. Well, we'll get to all that. But in reality, what was kind of I always wanted to be a baseball player. Going out, and my bat speed stunk, so that ended quick. But what was your childhood dream?
Yeah, mine was never to get into IT. Surprisingly, like it was to get into film. Like I was that kid, probably like most everybody on this call, taking stuff apart. And like my favorite thing to take apart was the VCR. The family VCR. We were done watching Star Wars or whatever movie we were done watching for the week. I'd pop that thing out, take it apart, because I loved watching the mechanics of, just feeding that tape around that spool and just watch it, go around. Had no idea what any of this stuff was, but take all that stuff apart, family computer, you name it. And what really drew me to film was, just kind of being very curious about how things work and everything, right? Like film, you could do anything. You weren't bound to mechanics or physics or really any of that kind of stuff, right? It's like, hey, if you can imagine it, you could do it, right? You've got all the wonderful things, the video printing that they did in Star Wars, to, I can't really point this way, but to like silicon graphics machines that were used in like, all these wonderful films, kind of later on and into the 90s. It was just like the perfect thing, right? Like I can do anything, kind of thing. Right. So that was my childhood dream.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, and even today, you watch movies, and even when they shoot them digitally, they can still give them that film look. I saw The Holdovers recently, and wow, it was just masterful stuff. So yeah, film, very, very interesting in there. So I mean, how you're dreaming about being in film, and dreaming about film. Yeah, well, I mean,
I see a comment here about watching a movie thrice. That's thank you, Peter. But yeah, awesome. No, I mean it kind of went into from film of like a lot of those guys are freelance, right? Like, I was a huge fan of Industrial Light and Magic, and like, okay, maybe I could go work for a company like that, or kind of go independent. But like, a lot of like the cinematographers, there's a lot of freelance work out there. And a lot of it depends upon where you live too, right? Like I'm stuck up here in New Hampshire, very far away from LA and from Hollywood. So, kind of got to thinking a little bit, and actually, looking at colleges and talking with, different professors and whatnot. And actually television kind of made a lot of sense, right? Like, why not get into news? Every town, your town, my town, everybody's got their own local news station. It's like, there's a big job market there for you. So, that's kind of where things sort of, came together for me from a career perspective. Is like, okay, I'll go into TV because it's more stable. It's it's your hourly person. But as far as paychecks go, it's a lot more of a stable option for me.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
Just a bit there. So, so this is the first section of our thing, just kind of getting into Matt's background in there. Back when we were getting started, Matt, IT was just really coming into being in there, and doing help desk type stuff, and just pitching in wherever you can. I'm sure a kid who's breaking open VCRs, doing that kind of thing, going through, and really developing. It's amazing how those threads continue as we go.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I did help desk back in high school, and like, part of like, you would think like, okay, I'm on this career path to get into IT and everything. But honestly, like dealing with broken computers all day and then coming home and your computer is broken and all you want to do is crack open that, Dune game or Lemmings game or whatever it is you want to play, right? And you just got this new thing in the way of like, crap, now I have to like do my job at night too. So yeah, that was a bit of a left turn for me, but Jason Sluggard VCR.
Yeah, nice. Great stuff.
Yeah,
great stuff in there. So let's go through. We take a look at the poll results from here, and first of all, the music selection of Gloria Gaynor, always a solid choice in there. And most folks, when they want to spend time on a quick crisp 5-minute video and demo, Mr. Bradford.
Crisp.
Which you may actually have something to do with at Pure. All right, let's move on. Let's get through. Yep, there's the poll and the results, but the finest here. And we went beyond the frame kind of in there. Talk about your move from behind the lens in film to go to technical marketing there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, certainly. I mean, doing a couple years in TV, got a, degree in television. And that was just like, hey, I'm going to scratch that itch, right? Get to tell stories, get to create news. And like the cool thing about that job that I do miss was the end of every day. Like you were done, right? You had told your stories, you had shot your stories, you had edited, it went out to air. Every day is a new day, right? It was pretty cool. But unfortunately, as steady as it was, it didn't pay all that great. And so I had to make a bit of a change here, right? News to me was supposed to be this like, hey, great, we get to inform everybody. And, we had things like sweeps, which were like kind of like bizarro news when, you had all of your Nielsen ratings coming in and you had to try to beat out the other station. And you're telling stories in different ways that you might not have in a non-sweeps week. It was kind of a bizarre world. But honestly, it kind of did come down to the financial decision to get out of TV. And I got lucky. My father does a lot of industrial industrial automation, and, get to go work with him for a number of years until eventually having to, when the last recession hit in the late, 2000s, had to branch back out into another realm. And that's kind of where I got back into IT, was just, having those connections from that help desk job and getting back into IT with a medical device company. So yeah, that was kind of my, foray back into IT. Is just one of those things just keeps pulling you in, right? You can't get away from it. So
absolutely. Yeah. And the technical, the stuff that we did and dreamt of become a hobby to our bill paying type stuff out there.
Yeah, it's funny, seeing a comment there from Tina too about being a radio DJ and money wasn't there. I had a friend who was a radio DJ too, and they paid him in like coupons, and you had to hand out like the free pizzas and all the prize money and stuff. He's like, hey, I get, pizza. It's like, great, but how are you paying your rent with coupons, right? So absolutely.
Yeah. And that's why you see a lot of folks on air personalities do a lot of sponsorships.
Mm-hmm.
Do a lot of sponsorships to help supplement free Jeep, free stuff like that for as long as they were on the payroll there. All right, let's move on. You guys did so great with the first poll questions. We're going to move into poll number 2 and take a look at the polls here. Let's see. Here we go. Boom. All right. How would you describe your data protection? We're going to keep it in the music realm.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe your current data protection strategy in musical terms? Is it rock solid? That's the Matt Bradford way. Solid.
I'm more of a karaoke guy.
Oh, yeah. Jazz, improv, hip hop collaboration, or karaoke night. a mix of courage and occasional off notes. The cross your fingers methodology of you never know what you get. Somebody singing Summer of '69 from Bryan Adams and doesn't fit their vocal range. That right. That's the kind of data protection strategy we see out there as we go along. So we'll move to the, let's move into the next phase as folks are still doing poll 2 there. We'll go ahead. We'll give it a little bit more. It's kind of winding down. Go ahead and end it. Let's see where we ended up here. All right. Yep. Well, kind of a blend in there. A lot of jazz improv and hip hop. Pretty good. Not many of us are as daring with the karaoke type stuff and sticking your neck out there. But that's kind of, with karaoke, the folks that embrace it, it's kind of the, craft of being compelling. You really, to do it, you have to embrace it and have fun on there. Heavy metal. Wow. Yeah. ABBA, take a chance. I love it. Great comments in chat. Keep it up. You guys are on a roll. It's obviously the holiday season. Everybody feeling the vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling the vibes here. Going in. So, Matt, I guess when we kind of coming from that background, and why marketing?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it? How did you make that jump and say, you know what, marketing? That sounds good.
Yeah, it started out as kind of giving presentations internally. like I was always this behind the scenes, behind the camera kind of guy, and just sort of, kind of doing my thing, taking care of tickets and whatever. But then once I started, having to kind of, look for solutions to, our problems and things like that, and present it back to our team or present it to, my peers or to our customers and all of that stuff, right? Even as a sysadmin, I kind of learned that like, hey, this is kind of cool. Like, putting yourself out there. Like I gave this presentation and I didn't die. Like that was a powerful lesson for me. And the more I, started putting myself out there, like the more I started just seeing rewards from that kind of stuff, right? They're like, oh, hey, you're the, whatever guy. And you just kind of get to know people and make these connections. And it really all like came together at my first VMworld as a customer, and going there and seeing like, oh my God, like VMware pays these people to go up on stage and talk about this cool technology and like share all this stuff and talk with customers. And like, that seems like a really cool job. Right. So that's kind of where like, I started becoming a bit starstruck with the whole tech marketing idea. And, from there, stepped in from being a customer to, being an employee at VMware and getting my foot in the door there. Doing a lot of, consulting for like our big healthcare customers up here in New England, and, really working those connections, and actually, created some videos that caught the eye of our technical marketing team within VMware. And that's when, they started pulling me into this role. So it's been a really fun ride, but really cool being able to kind of go back to, the roots of that TV production background and be able to like create these cool demos for everybody.
I know. As you go along and doing that, to be able to tap back in and really realize that's where it all came from is, almost validating in a way our history makes us at least try to hey, we didn't waste our time back in the day. It's actually they were real investments.
Yep. It's all about adaptation, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely right. All right, let's go. Well, talk about kind of what you're doing today, how it led up to today, and what your role is, and what you're doing, what you're bringing to the table today.
Yeah, it's a kind of going back from TV. We as we were writing stories and telling stories and everything, we always thought about like the lowest common denominator, right? And this is across the entire industry of, you don't write your stories using words. Honestly, I think it was like a 4th or 5th grade level, right? Because you don't want to lose your audience. And I've taken some of that into a technical marketing perspective too, and not, the 4th and 5th grade kind of thing, but more of like a, speak to the junior sysadmin, right? Like, I've been there, we've all been there, right? Like I remember interviewing for a job and they're asking me about like, well, what do you know about VLANs? I'm like, why would you want a virtual LAN? Right? Like, don't assume everybody just knows everything about everything, but, think about that junior admin who's maybe sitting down to like learn about this stuff, who maybe wants to get to the next level in their career, or, maybe kind of get dragged into this meeting. Like, I don't know what this is, and maybe walk out and learn something. So that's, very important to, obviously make sure you don't lose people. Don't jump into, a ton of acronyms, right? Like it's a daily thing for me, at least. I don't know about you, Jason, but sitting in some of these meetings, like, what the hell are they talking about? Like, I don't know what this acronym is. TMA, too many acronyms. I don't know. Right. So, don't just jump off into the deep end and, think about your demos in terms of storytelling too, right? You don't want to just be like, oh, flash storage, look at this cool bezel we've got. Oh, think about like, what are the problems, right? Think about it from a story. What is the conflict? What are we trying to accomplish here? And then how are we accomplishing that? Right. So, as far as demos go, that's kind of where I come at it from, right? Think about the junior sysadmin who's in there, who maybe has a, basic understanding. Because obviously if we go in and describe everything, like we're going to be here for forever, but you're only going to hold people's attention for, a couple of minutes. So, but don't jump into like, hey, here's the flashy stuff, or, like harbor tours, right? We've all given these kinds of things. And there's a place for them, right? If we're educating somebody on how to use a product, absolutely, right? Harbor tours can be great, But if you're trying to talk about, like, for example, we're going to be talking about data resiliency, like, let's not jump into all these other things, right? I'm here. I want to learn how the hell do I fix my problems, right? Here,
Right.
I'm just going to give you that information. We don't necessarily need all of the, the full picture. So, yeah, keep things concise. Think about your junior sysadmins that are in the room. And the reason why we're talking about this today, like, this is all very useful stuff for sysadmins, right? As we're, presenting solutions, hey, I found this product that really fits, checks all the boxes of things that we need. You're gonna have to present to your management, your peers, help desk, your support folks, everybody, right? So, there is a purpose to talking about all of this with everybody.
That's right. I mean, we take a look at these. The results of the second poll was, a quick 5-minute demo, like you said. Don't jump into the deep end. Quick 5-minute demo, or 5-minute intro with a demo involved is the right entree into getting into that.
Yeah, exactly. So why don't we jump into a demo, Jason?
Yeah, let's do it.
And this is something that you helped build too, right? You've had your hand in the data protection assessment. And so what are we trying to do with the data protection assessment? And this is really about, helping our customers to understand our different technologies, right? If we had a nickel for every time we saw a customer at no fault of their own, but that enabled safe mode, but didn't have any snapshots to protect, right? We'd be dollar errors. Right. So that's what we're trying to do with the data protection assessment, is help customers to understand our leading practices and all of our technologies and how they come together to help you to protect your data from, accidental deletions or malicious actors or, things like that. Right. And so with the data protection assessment, and Jason, jump in here at any time.
Right.
Is, we're looking at both on the right hand side here, right? This is looking at the configuration of your flash arrays, your flash blades, and making sure that, again, you've got things like your snapshots, you're taking snapshots at least once per day for your volumes or your buckets, whatever. You've got safe mode enabled, right? Maybe you're replicating that data to another array. So that's what we're looking at here. And of course, this honeycomb view, we kind of color code everything based on, hey, caution, right? Danger. You got safe mode enabled, but there's no snapshots for you to protect. Well, okay, turn on snapshots, right? But again, it's to no fault of our customers, because we do talk about safe mode a lot.
Right.
Maybe we should be talking about safe mode and snapshots, and really hammer that home.
How does it all work? How does it all work, kind of thing. And the whole reason for this, so much information packed into here.
Mm-hmm.
So much like a good demo, you want to make sure that there's a lot there, but that it keeps it simple to get into. That's why we included a graphical honeycomb and
yes.
to make it kind of okay. And it's why we put a score in there to be able to have a starting point, that beginning to get to it. So now as Matt is doing a demo, you see that beginning, and then you kind of drill in as you go along. But the idea for our customers is that here is a tool that you can use to kind of keep tabs on yourself, score yourself, and take a look and see how protected, how resilient is my data out there. And of course, in a classic Pure Storage fashion, we're going to give you the ability to take action on some of that stuff as well, right, Matt?
Exactly. And to James' question here in the chat, right? Are we looking at operational controls and who's logging into these arrays and things like that? Great point there. This is not something to like replace your SIM or look at, any sort of behavior or, access within your environment. This is more about the configuration, so that if there is, a breach in your environment, people can't go in and start deleting snapshots, right? You still have that backup. And of course, we want you to consider other solutions. We're not saying snapshots are the answer to absolutely everything, but this is a technology that we provide to you for no cost. And, it can really save your bacon. I mean, Jason, I'm sure you've talked to customers too that, the ones that have had this enabled and have had a breach, they're like, oh my God, this like really, really saved our bacon. We're really glad we did that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the safe mode helps protect from cyber criminals and compromised admin credentials, but also from Florida Man here, the accidental admin helps protect there. So by keeping track and making sure, oh, I didn't realize that wasn't protected. I didn't realize I didn't have that. I'm so glad I get to see this. Yeah, we've gotten the feedback all the time. Wow, we were able to recover in minutes or hours instead of taking days or weeks to get back.
Exactly. Yeah. And so how do we pull all this together? Well, we've got all the actionable insights right here, right? Hey, boom, safe modes disabled, eradication delays 1 day, right? The eradication delay, of course, being how long we prevent anybody from manually deleting, or as we call it in here, pure eradicating your snapshots. Like I love how we like to use big, scary words like eradication to, describe how you get rid of data. But then, information about like, okay, hey, you've got 1 day, but we recommend 7 days at least, right? So, you can go in and you can basically update your whole configuration. Now, on the flip side of that, right? So this side's looking at the configuration of everything.
Yep.
The resiliency score is all about the adoption of this stuff, right? So we're really putting into context, like, yeah, you see a lot of yellow and a lot of red. Do as we say, not as we do. Although honestly, a lot of customer environments look like this, which is, totally fine. There's work to be done, but but the resiliency score is all about giving a little bit of context to that as well, right? And are you adopting things like snapshots, safe mode, and we're giving a weighted score against all of your virtual capacity. So how much capacity are your hosts seeing, provision from your storage arrays? And we use that percentage and we give a weight to each of the scores to kind of figure out like, what is your resiliency score? And this is 0 out of 5, right?
Right.
So
well, this one's really high scored.
Right.
Right. And so, the point is not to have a perfect, because some of your data may not require some of that. You may not need 100% of your data protected. We might be putting Matt's videos or
you don't need those
on there. We don't necessarily need to snapshot that or protect it, and it brings it down a little bit there. So it's just it's an idea to get the conversation going. Let's make sure you're as resilient as you could possibly be in this in this day and age. When it's all hands on deck and you don't know what part of your disaster recovery or your cyber resiliency plan is going to save you. It's good to have some place to check in and do that. And the Pure One Data Protection Assessment certainly delivers that.
Exactly. And how much would you pay for something like this, Jason?
$39.95.
How about free? Every Pure Storage customer has access to this. So one other cool thing that we can do within the data protection assessment, I switched over to a video because this is like catching lightning in a bottle. And maybe that's why we have this lightning bolt icon. Like I
got what you did there.
And, so what these lightning bolt icons mean is that, hey, we've detected an anomaly in your environment, and we're looking specifically at significant drops in DRR. And any guesses as to why DRR, Jason?
Because it has something to do with coffee. Oh, no. Maybe encryption. How about that?
Encryption. That's right.
Oh, okay. I think it was either coffee or encryption.
So yeah, as we're looking at the data reduction ratio, right? If those volumes get encrypted, obviously more of the blocks are going to become unique, and we'll see a significant drop in DRR. So when you see that lightning bolt icon in the data protection assessment, that means we've detected an anomaly on multiple volumes for that array. So in this case, we're looking at, I've got 5 volumes selected here. I can select more volumes. And what's really cool about this graph is I can start to correlate what the heck happened, right? In this case, and you may not see this in the wild, but we actually detected a significant drop across all of these volumes at the same time, which is why you see that sharp drop.
Boom.
Now, this isn't meant to be early detection, right? Because by the time your data is already becoming encrypted and that data reduction ratio is down. Yeah, exactly, right? It's already a bit too late. But what this does is, as I highlight over this, you can see the different timestamps, right? So now I can see, okay, for all of these volumes, or for this particular volume that I need to recover now, I can tell what time that, data reduction ratio drops. And now I can use that to figure out a nice recovery time point to get back on my feet a lot faster. So that's the data protection assessment within Pure One.
That's good. I mean, and that is, there can be a lot of time spent trying to figure out how to get to. So even though that's not detection, it's not closest to the threat, you still have the ability to save time and effort by going right to that point in time and beginning your cleaning there too as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's good. All right. Well, that's good. Let's head to that. Oh, by the way, you may look at that that resiliency score and be like, what the heck? How do you even create a number like that? Well, Matt Bradford did an amazing job on the Digital Bytes series, showing how resiliency score was built. Now that you know a little bit about Matt, you wouldn't be surprised to know it involves video games and how to get a high score there.
It does.
Yeah, you should to scan that QR code. Go check out Matt's Digital Bytes. Amazing demos. You'll see why I wanted to bring him in to get a little bit behind the scenes on how does this. You don't just wake up one day and be that good at doing demos and videos. So check them out, and obviously filled with great information there as well. You can find Digital Bytes on YouTube. Yeah.
Yep.
If your QR code doesn't work, head to YouTube, Pure Storage, Digital Bytes. Should be able to find it very easy that way in there. All right. Let's I think, do we have time? We have more poll questions? I know we've asked a lot of questions already. I think I saw some people check it out. They're like, oh, it's too many questions. A little invasive. That's my apologies. I take the blame for that. For not getting down to business faster. But if data protection were a song, where would it land on your playlist? A lot of folks do skip the track. I've got something do that guilty pleasure. There's a lot of songs that certainly could be considered guilty pleasure classics. Or a banger, and something that you would absolutely roll it down. If you missed the QR code in there, again, YouTube, Digital Bytes, Pure.
I'll even throw it back up for y'all. How's that?
Well, there you go on there. All right, and then the second one, what comes to your mind when you think of disaster recovery? Yeah, so happy it's not my problem. That's a good one, for sure. On there, close my eyes, hope for the best isn't on there. That'd probably be my guess, probably mine. On there. So, all right, let's go ahead. Great response. Thank you very much for your response. We can go ahead and end it there. And yeah, there you go. Boom.
Yeah. A lot of people rolling down their windows for that one, though. That's cool.
I think, oh yeah. Well, I think that, a classic, I think, is probably the right thing in recovery time. Yeah, that's so much different than it was, a while back, where we really optimized for backup and getting stuff off the host fast. Obviously, with data growing like it does, it is critical to get back up and running quickly and easily. And, Matt, Pure Storage, recently started getting into that as well. I don't know if your next demo gets into some of the restorability and keeping your business going as going in, but let's take a look.
Yeah, definitely. So actually, let me go back to the slides here and talk a little bit about a new offering that we just announced back in October, which is our new, is it Doctor as a Service? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's right. Doctor as a Service. Yeah.
Disaster.
Need medical help, you just call
that. Disaster recovery as a service. This is Pure Protect. So this is a standalone product that Pure Storage has just launched, and it's managed within Pure One, but it's an entirely separate product from our flash arrays, our FlashBlade, Cloud Block Stores, Fusion, all of this stuff, right? This doesn't leverage things like Active Cluster, Active DR. In fact, if you're not running your VMware workloads on Pure Storage, doesn't matter. We can still protect those. And, one of the problems with disaster recovery, I saw this in the chat, all the red tape and everything. And, it's a massive project to get something like this implemented. You've got to get the architecture together. You've got to, align the virtualization team, or, the platform teams with your networking teams, with your storage teams. And, everybody's got their own, caveats and things like that. Oh, well, you can't just do stretch layer 2 across, the country, or, all the things that one team wants that another team maybe has, issues with, and maybe can't provide. It's a huge project, right? I've lived through it. Jason, I'm sure you've lived through it.
Yeah.
It starts off with I want always on, I want active, zero RTO, zero RPO, and but not the price tag. Oh my God,
That's
go
right.
back and redesign this whole thing, make it cheaper.
You get your first cloud bill and it's about that big, and you're like, oh my goodness. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Totally.
So what we're offering is something that, we can actually deploy a full, go from nothing to a full disaster recovery solution in less than an hour, right? That's, I don't know, over an average lunch break. And,
right.
This is for your VMware vSphere, right? Protecting your virtual machines and not requiring a secondary data center or co-location or expensive, cloud cluster, hardware and things like that. We're actually providing disaster recovery of your VMware VMs to native AWS. So we're talking EC2 instances here, meaning if you're not running it, you're not paying for it, right? So it's a very, very cool solution. And what I want to show you is, really kind of hammer home the fact of being able to deploy this over the course of a lunch break. And in fact, I'm going to do this over a fast food lunch break here, Jason, because this is demo land. Yeah. We're going to make things really fast.
Absolutely. Boom! Look at that. Demo time.
Right. And look at this. We now have disaster recovery, Jason. No, just kidding. There's a few more steps here to do, but it's super, super easy, right? First of all, we need to deploy something on your vSphere, right? We need to be able to get our hooks into VMware and, be able to talk to the vCenter, because we're actually leveraging VMware's APIs for data protection, the VADPs. And, so we can take advantage of things like, we're doing basically snapshots at the vSphere level. We can do change block tracking and all this, wonderful magic to, cut down on your ingress and egress charges to AWS. So we need to be able to deploy this OVA in here. But once you do that, right, we just do some basic configuration here. I got to connect to my vCenter, of course, right? And then configure the appliance as well as the disaster recovery network, right? So as you can tell, Jason, what we're doing here is we've actually taken, this massive project that could take months or years and put it into a wizard in a way that, it's purely simple.
I see what you did there. Purely simple. I got it.
Yep. So,
got it.
So we go through bada boom, bada bing. We've configured the appliance. Now the next step is to connect to AWS. Jason, I don't know anything about AWS. Not a problem. We've actually got, we've actually got, we can generate the access key for you within AWS. It's actually in our documentation. Copy paste the CloudFormation template into AWS. It spits all this information out. All the role-based access control that you hate configuring in AWS is taken care of for you. So, all right, once we connect to AWS, now comes the fun part, my friend. We're going to start configuring that disaster recovery site. So we are leveraging your AWS account. As you could tell, you don't need to pay for a third-party provider or anything. You can take advantage of your service credits, for example. If you want to do disaster recovery testing, boom, use service credits. You need to fail over, boom, use service credits, right? Or take advantage of your discounts. It puts you in full control. You're not paying for, again, expensive compute in AWS, hardware in AWS to run vSphere and so forth, right? But that's it. That was the whole configuration there. We stood up a VPC, a virtual private cloud within your AWS to land your virtual machines in case of disaster.
So much effort has been put in, Matt, to putting the tracks down to make it really easy to get through. And there's always going to be stuff like firewalls and whatnot to traverse, but it really created something here with Pure Protect ERAS to make it simpler to begin that journey to be able to recover.
Yep, exactly. So next step here, we just need to create a connection between the on-premises virtual appliance to AWS to get those virtual machines over. And that's it. We now have a disaster recovery site in AWS. The only other thing we've got to do now is just create a direct connection or VPN for that application traffic back to your network. But, you know, dude, I wish we had this years ago when I was, helping to architect the disaster recovery solution for our organization, because this blew me away when I first saw what Pure was doing. It's like, what?
It's a long way from the Lemmings game behind you back there. That's for sure. Long way.
It is. So yeah, don't walk off the cliff. Pure Protect DRAS is your umbrella. So, your Lemmings don't die. Keep your virtual machines running.
Excellent tie-in on the fly too. Well done.
Right.
Yeah, well done.
So, within the product here, because we have a little extra time, is it cool if we dive a little bit more into the product here?
Yeah, just hit. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
No Q. No, as I say, no Q&A. A couple pop-ins here, and I'll answer those while you get a little deeper.
Sounds great. Yeah. So, kind of quick question here about the Cloud Block Store. I'll do this one live here. Again, this is completely storage agnostic. So we aren't relying on Cloud Block Store on the AWS side. Future, sure, we're going to have a lot more integrations. Today with this 1.0 release, it's just AWS. We're of course looking at other clouds. You can expect to see VMware to VMware, for example. So a lot of development is going into this product here. So, as things progress, we will see a lot more integrations. But what we've got, within Pure One here. Okay, so we're logged into Pure One. We've got Pure Protect DRAS already stood up. Now we got to deal with policies, groups, and plans, right? Very simple. So policies are going to be your your recovery points. So your recovery point objective. You can do daily, which is probably fine for most people. You can also go down to a couple of hours too, right? So we're going to snap those VMs, ship them up to AWS every couple of hours. In this case, hey, we're just going to do things daily, right? So if we get attacked, we have to do some sort of failover. If our data center becomes a crater, we fail over. We've lost a day's worth of work, but hey, at least we're up and running, right? So that's the policies, really. It's basically creating your recovery point objective. The next part is obviously assigning virtual machines to that group, right? Very basic disaster recovery stuff here, but there's some cool little tricks that we have. So I'm going to add VM5 to this group. I'm going to assign it to that new policy we have. Now let's talk about conversions, right? Because we are converting virtual machines from vSphere to native AWS to EC2 instances, there is a little bit of time that is needed to do those conversions. But for those virtual machines that are of the utmost importance, that need to be up and running when you hit that big red button, we'll allow you to do some pre-conversion here, right? So there is some additional AWS costs with how we're doing this. So use this sparingly. Use this for those virtual machines that absolutely have to come up.
You can be intentional with what you do with that, and that's nice to have that flexibility to do that.
Exactly, and that's
you can do that.
Yeah. And that's why we do it at the group level too, right? Yeah. So I don't have to go and create a new policy for all of that stuff, right? Just for this particular group, I can say, hey, pre-convert these, so when I hit that button, those virtual machines come right up. So that's the virtual machine side. Now from actually, hang on, I screwed up here. Gonna add one more virtual machine. Add that to the existing. It's going to look a lot better if I have two virtual machines. So now if I go into the plans, I can create a new plan. And then what's kind of cool here, so plans are going to be the basically your test scenarios, right? If you want to do disaster recovery testing, these are the plans. The prod recovery plan, that's your big red button. That is when craps hit the fan, you need to fail over, you hit that one. But we're going to create a new plan for doing some testing. And what's really cool about this too is, disaster recovery testing isn't always about performance, is it? Totally fine if you want to scale virtual machines down, because you just want to make sure that the application comes up. Like, yeah, maybe you want to do some initial, performance testing, but for all of the follow-up tests that you perform, you don't really care. So you can actually scale these down, and of course, because we've got the configuration of those virtual machines, we're basically mapping them to an AWS instance type. But go ahead, tweak it, roll it back, right?
Right.
I don't need 75% of these resources. Scale them down, and we've saved ourselves even more money by running it as a smaller virtual machine. So that's pretty much it. We've now got a plan. I can do a test failover. I can, jump on my, Bastion host, go test everything out. I can change the boot order of my virtual machines, how they come up, all that sort of stuff that you're used to, and love with your disaster recovery solution. So that's Pure Protect ERAS, my friend.
That's how you do a demo right there. Now you know all the background, how Matt got to this very moment in time to deliver the demo you just watched. Let him know in the comments what you thought of it. Thank you, Rick, giving you some applause in there. On there, let's go ahead and roll pull 4 and wrap things up here. We'll get to our drawing as well. I can see folks are piling in, liking the drawing. We'll do pull 4. Here it is.
Here we go.
Yeah, boom. Let's take a look. So when it comes to demos, what kind of buyer are you? Are you a test driver? Do you like driving a car? We had the comment earlier on about hands-on demos are the best. Casual observer. Yeah, demos are nice. In there. Yeah, side collector. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then what feature would you most like to see enhanced or added to Pure Protect? We had a couple of great questions in the Q&A about third-party clouds, roadmap on that, integration into Cloud Block Store. How does everything work together? And they're very complementary right now. There's more to come in all of that. This is this is the first release, generally available as of October 31st. And is available right now and very easy to try, easy to manage in here. So get in there today. Yeah, roadmaps. Everybody sees the value of this, Matt, of DR as a service. Everybody sees the value of Pure Protect, and you can always find out more on the website. You can go right to Pure Storage and you can find that. You can check out Matt Pure Storage Digital Bytes on YouTube. To see more. You did great. You did not to belabor the point, but you did a great video on this as well. And there, take a look. All right, let's wrap it up here. You can go ahead. We'll close pull 4. See what we got. Yeah, see most people are a moderate tester. I think I fall into that category as well. And what kind of things do they want to see in there? Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Expand beyond just AWS.
And more cloud landing zones. I think that tracks with that, but we appreciate all of that. And let's see. Let's go to our drawing, and I'm trying to bring it in. I'm getting it into focus. And Amrit B from Ohio. Amrit B is the big winner. They'll drop that. They'll be in touch with that. Thank you all. Let's go. I think we have one more promo slide. People were asking about the next one. There's the QR code for next month. Don't judge Andrew Miller and Coffee Break based on our shenanigans today. We wanted to go behind the curtains a little bit. Took us a little while to get into it. That's my fault. But great stuff next month on Evergreen. The Christmas tree coming out of it. Holiday season. You'll still be feeling the joy when you go into that. Join Andrew Miller with Chris Sprague and Rich Barlow for Evergreen. And
maybe there'll be some Evergreen under your tree, Jason.
What's that?
Maybe there'll even be some Evergreen under your tree this Christmas.
I would love that. Yes, yes. Your videos are so good. I almost bought some Pure Storage, by the way. In there. We didn't get to your questions. We're sorry in there, but we answered a lot of them as we went along. In there, we thank everybody, for joining us today. Thank you very much, Matt Bradford. As we go, don't forget to come back next month. Thanks everybody to all the, to the thousands of people that joined us on here. We thank you for watching Coffee Break. We thank you for your paying attention to Pure Storage. And anyway, I'll do one more plug to check out Digital Bytes on there. Tons of great information. You get that action-packed Matt Bradford in there. Matt, thank you. Thank you for joining us. For Matt Bradford and Monisha, I've been Jason Walker. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time on Coffee Break. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.